In this one, I'm going to show you how I made this retro slash 1960s style render in Blender. I'm not 100% sure what to call this, but I took influence from like Art Deco, diesel slash cyberpunk art, and just a general 1960s aesthetic. So I had a lot of fun with this one, and I recorded the whole thing as I was making it, and I'll just explain what I was doing and thinking the whole way through. So this should be helpful if you make environments in Blender, and we'll just get into it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do here is actually show the mood board. There's a lot of references here from videos and like just images I found online of 1960s, I think like England and New York. Yeah, you can see just like very retro kind of styles going on here. This is a big inspiration for this whole render, which is like 1960s style. I also have a lot of references from BioShock, which is kind of a lot of like art deco kind of old school kind of style as well. Probably the main reference I was looking at was this one here. This is an image by this guy here, Eddie Mendoza. So he makes some really cool like diesel punk kind of renders like this. Not renders, I guess, like photo bashing or whatever. And you can see like that's the mood board. So the first thing I did here was actually import some classic cars. So this is just from the add-on Traffic by Polygonic. So I just tried to import cars around this time period, like around the 1960s. They're all labeled with the year they're made, so that was helpful. And then I had this one reference image of this kind of city scene with these arches in it. I thought that was really cool, so I wanted to just have some, I know I wanted to have arches somewhere in here, so I just started modeling some of those. And you can see me just kind of figuring that out. And just like the last video, you can see me kind of just not making it too good yet. It's just kind of me figuring out where to place things, doing some rough details, but mostly just figuring out the placement for stuff, blocking it out, not worrying too much about details, and more just about the overall scene structure and where I'm placing stuff. So you can see me just kind of stacking stuff on top of each other, adding some really basic windows with just some, loop cuts, and then insetting those squares and doing some extrusions on that just to get some basic windows in there. A couple basic details, but all this stuff is kind of the foundation of what was in the final render, especially for the foreground. So all that stuff made it into the final render. Just by the end, there's more like stuff stacked on top of it, more pipes wrapping around it, neon signs and textures and stuff all coming together. But you can see I'm not worrying too much about those details yet. I'm just trying to figure out the placement of stuff, getting some basic assets in here. Like this is a cool one. In Vancouver, there's every time I drive over this bridge, Oak Street Bridge, there's these lamps. So I just screenshotted one of those on Google Maps and then use that as a reference to model something really similar. So if you drive on that bridge, you'll see those. And this is definitely a nice little asset that I'll reuse in the future too. I actually really liked how this lamp came out. For the ground here, I'm just using this really simple but effective setup of just a basic concrete texture, but then you use a noise texture to drive both the roughness and also the normal map strength, the same noise texture to drive both those. So that's super nice to have for a render like this where you want like all those lights reflecting off the street nicely. And then for these buildings here, I'm just using a very basic concrete material from Polyhaven. So that's just going on all those, really basic unwrap, and then also just getting some basic metal and glass materials on those arches, kind of like inside the windows there, which you'll see in a second. So loop cuts, inset those, glass material goes on those panes, and then kind of just a metallic brass-ish metal material, same as one of the lamps, I think, just goes on those like frame parts of the window. And then doing some upwards lighting here, with just some area lights shining upwards around those windows. Once I had this thing textured, I could just kind of start duplicating it around and get more stuff happening in the scene. And then I started with the first neon sign here. In Vancouver, there's this big Orpheum neon sign if you go downtown. So that's where I got the idea for this one. So I'm just trying to make like a neon looking thing here. Made it red. And I don't know, for something with the word Orpheum just reminds me of like this kind of era, this kind of time period. So I don't know if that's super fitting, but it felt like it to me at the time. I think it works. And then just getting some basic volume in here. And then I'm bringing in a building from my free buildings pack. I can link that below if you want to download that. Just a free pack. You've probably seen me use it before. This didn't really look too 1960s though. So I tried to like put these concrete panes over it to make it feel a little bit more like Art Deco or whatever. That wasn't working too well. Could have been, I think I could use this for like a background thing, but not really for a main building. So I'm going in and starting a new building here, just keeping it more. I was actually using the Empire State Building as the main reference for this one. Not going for a one-to-one copy of it, but just kind of trying to take some influence from that style. So yeah, that's very Art Deco building where it's like, I don't know, like a lot of like straight lines vertically with these like concrete things, and then kind of like interrupted by, again, like concrete like rows around the outside. Everything's very like squared off, and you can see it's kind of like this interesting stacked design with like different levels kind of extruded upwards. So I was trying to go for that kind of look there. And then I spent a while on this one because I knew this was going to be either the main focal point of the image, or it was going to be heavily reused throughout the scene. And it was actually both of those things, was both the focal point and reused in other buildings in the sides. So I knew this was going to be an important one. So I just decided, you know what, I'm okay to just spend a bit longer on this one, on the style render even. And so yeah, just adding loop cuts, selecting all those, insetting all that, trying to get the windows the same size, glass material on that, which is just my usual metallic shader with the alpha lowered down. And then the reason you do that is so that you can have some transparency, but also reflectivity, so that you can put an emissive material on the inside of that and have it shine through, and you'll still get reflections from the metallic, but then since the alpha is down, you can see through it and have the emissive lights shining out. So that's my favorite material for that. And then I'm making some arches here on this building. Again, just looking at the Empire State Building for a reference mainly. And in that building, there's like arches like this on the side, and it just all kind of is the same kind of style as the rest of the render that's going on. So you can see me just kind of getting those in there. You don't really notice them too much, but you can see them in the final render in some spots. So I'm definitely glad I did that. And then I'm trying to do this really heavy upwards lighting in a lot of the scene. So it's just taking area lights, making those a warm tone. But that upwards lighting, I'm really trying to hammer in there with just lots of area lights close to the edges of buildings, just shining straight up to try and get that kind of like, I don't know, Vegas look, or like just kind of that pristine, whatever you call that kind of look, where it's like just that really expensive looking lighting where it's just shining straight up the building. I feel like that just worked really well for this kind of render. And then you can see me, I've already duplicated that same building like 5 different times in here. It's not super obvious though, like I'm trying to not show the entire thing all at once, or keep it more in the background if it's duplicated, or just show a part of it on the side so it's not super obvious. You know, I don't want it to look like just the same building repeated throughout the whole city. And I think I did a pretty good job of avoiding that. You can tell in some spots, but overall it was like not too bad. And then here you can see me kind of just refining the foreground building. And I'm also getting some like industrial assets in here. Trying to lean a little bit more into that diesel punk kind of vibe, which is more like 1960s kind of style, or even 1920s to 60s, but then also having more like industrial kind of frameworks and pipes and bridges and just kind of like industrial revolution type things in there. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like steampunk or diesel punk or whatever, but that's definitely something I wanted to kind of have a little bit at least in here. A lot of this stuff is just slowly chipping away at small things and refining it over time. And then I don't know what this really was. I think I was taking some inspiration from one of those Parliament buildings in their reference board. So I'm just getting this like big archway in here, doing like the same kind of like stacked style, and then the same kind of upwards lighting with just area lights shining up that. I feel like that was really cool. So you get this like upwards gradient from light to dark, kind of nice. Taking a little arch. Actually, I refined this later at near the end of the render, so I left it pretty empty for most of it, just because I knew it was going to be a pretty small detail. And then here I started figuring out what I wanted to do for the neon signs. So I was just trying to use like words that you would find in like 1960s advertisements, trying to use fonts like from that era too, like a lot of Art Deco fonts, or doing some research on like, you know, what kind of signs and fonts they would use back then, and try to stick with that and keep it authentic. And then I used ChatGPT to just like make a list of words that seem like 60s vibe as well, and then you can just kind of mix and match them, and you know, came up with some on my own too. And yeah, just made a few neon signs. This is pretty fun actually. I'd need to save these too and reuse these in future renders. But yeah, just getting that, like, you know, just trying to lean into that as much as possible with like really retro signs, like that slanted style, you know, kind of like cursive fonts, or really heavy Art Deco fonts, or this like polka dot weird font here. What you just saw there was this website I found. I'll put the thing up. I forget what the name is, but I downloaded actually like a bunch of posters from around like, again, 1960s. Those are real posters, I think, and they're all just CC0 at this point. So that was actually really helpful to have for this one too. I'll definitely be using those in future renders as well. So once I had those neon signs, I just kind of started putting them around the scene. I wasn't too worried about the placement yet because I think stuff was going to shuffle around a lot, the whole layout of the scene. So I was just kind of getting them in there and then figuring it out later. You can see I put that arch in the middle there. That I actually really liked, but I ended up just removing the bottom half, but stretching it outwards. And then same trick as the last render where you just take that shape and then throw on the modifiers, the wireframe modifier, followed by the triangulate modifier. I think the order is backwards. So triangulate, then wireframe. And then you just get this kind of scaffolding thing that just follows whatever shape the mesh had before. And then you can see me importing these posters here. These look very fitting already, just bringing them in. And that was really, really nice to have. And then I just put a circle there for a placeholder of the clock that ended up being in the middle there. Now you can see me bringing in a picture of Hong Kong, which is obviously not very fitting here. But I just wanted some like city lights in the background that were kind of just not obvious what they were. So I'm trying to keep that hidden, just show little bits of it here and there, but not like show the whole city and have it obvious like super modern skyscrapers in the back. But just wanted to fill up empty space with that. And then, yeah, more posters. You can see these are like very retro looking, which is awesome for this render. And then I'm getting some spotlights in there too. That kind of spotlight look there is literally just like a spotlight, really narrow beam size, and then make it really bright. And then as long as you have volume in the scene, you'll see that beam kind of just like shining outwards. So that's really nice to have there. Super easy trick, and it works so well. And then here I'm just making a clock in the middle. I was just using a reference and just copying that. So you just get like a serif font or whatever, kind of stretch it out. I added some empties for markers to get the idea of where to line things up here. And then, yeah, just type in the numbers manually and then made a little thing here, making some basic hands with just subdivision modeling, just kind of morphing that into place, setting the time, duplicating that for the seconds hand. And then here I'm doing kind of like this Roman style column or whatever, where you like just select every other edge loop on that ring and then just Alt S to bring those in. So it creates this kind of like alternating wavy look on the outside of that. So yeah, you can see at this point, I'm still not very confident in like the overall layout of everything. You can see me just shuffling things around a lot and just trying different positions. This ended up turning into a bit of a mess at some point where it's just kind of like stuff everywhere and nothing's like super cohesive. You can see I'm adding this emissive gradient. This is actually a cool trick. I didn't end up using this in the render, but if you want to use it, it's just you add a cube, principled volume, gradient texture into the emission with the density on 0, and then you can just rotate the cube. And that gives you this upwards emissive gradient that you can just expand and put in the scene. And then, yeah, more just testing out different camera angles, duplicating the camera and just trying it out in different spots. Here, this is the next day. I ended up modeling this cool little thing here. I don't know what you even call this, but it's like, I just wanted to go for this like totally steampunk looking thing, whatever this is, or just, I don't even know if that's the right style, but just trying to get like Art Deco style trim and just like, you know, these glass panes in combination with these like metal framework around it. I don't know what you call this thing, but I really ended up liking this model here. So I just made one little like corner of that, added some arches, just adding some like circular kind of pieces to it too. This was my first time trying this style of render, so this took a while to like figure out all these kind of modeling things and using a lot of references from, again, like BioShock and different Art Deco buildings, some steampunk stuff, and just trying to get that to like really, really fit that style. One of my favorite parts of this whole render was these guys right here. The cool trick that's going on is I'm running an ambient occlusion node into the roughness as well as the base color a little bit. And that just creates this really nice, like dirty or frosted glass kind of look with the edges of that getting more rough as it gets close to something. This is totally something I'll do in the future as well. But you can see I'm just having fun here with this one. And then I'm getting that in there, end up having one half facing up, and then you just duplicate it over itself facing the other way. And those end up connecting properly. And then just ended up having that kind of towering over the foreground areas. Now here I started making an interior on some of these buildings in the foreground. These are like really small details that most people won't notice. For people that do notice that stuff, it just makes the whole image feel so much more, like, gives it so much more depth and life. And then I imported another like very classic looking car here for the foreground. I knew I wanted one like kind of really close to the camera, That's very similar to that reference you saw from that guy at the beginning. That's pretty similar. Definitely inspiration from that here. And then for this Orpheum sign, I'm just kind of like making this frame. This is like very Vancouver, this like frame. I just added around this. And then just adding a curve, and then just getting these, using an array modifier, getting these like circle lights to follow that curve around the outside. Very, very like retro design on that. And you can see like it's just slowly coming along. Like I'm bringing in some people here. Just these are crowds from like just a low poly pack of people I bought on CG Trader. And then yeah, just like slowly chipping away at it. Like here you can see I'm just getting closer and closer to the result you saw at the end. I think it was around this angle right here where I knew like this was the final camera angle, where it's like wide angle, but then I made the main building even larger for kind of like a bigger sense of scale, and then angled it upwards like this. I think this is when I knew like, oh yeah, there's the angle right there. Like that's when I knew like, yeah, that's the angle I want. And then another bridge over top. I kind of like that. Just kind of made it feel like more chaotic, a little more like, yeah, just like fun and just a whimsical kind of vibe, where it's like these crossing over bridges everywhere way above. Getting more neon signs kind of in the foreground, more spotlights shining up the building there. You might have noticed I put those street lamps across those bridges as well. Again, that just felt very retro and just vintage to me doing that. So that was cool. And then yeah, more spotlights just shining upwards through all that stuff. Just trying to go for like a fun kind of vibe, a dark but fun kind of vibe, you know? And then just bringing in some assets from Polyhaven, little manhole cover, making that more reflective to match the wet street, fixing some of the text here because it was just not too readable. And then making a little railing here. This is a little detail that you can't even really see in the final render, but it's like I made a little asset that I can save and reuse in future renders, so I'm gonna have to go and do that. But I was using like one of those BioShock references again for the reference for that. So after this point, it was just a couple more hours of just ironing out some messy areas and fixing some little things here and there. Like I've said before, I haven't really done this style before, so everything just took longer. It took a long time of just looking at references and just figuring it out, a longer time than it would normally take me. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this one came out, and I think it'd be fun to do more of these kind of renders where I dive super deep into one specific kind of style and go all out with that. Here is the final result. If you want full-length, step-by-step environment guides for how to make cyberpunk renders like this, I do have the Cyber Environments course, which I can link below. That's all my full in-depth guides to get you making renders that look like this from start to finish. And that also comes with a bunch of all the best 3D assets that I have to offer, as well as there's a community Discord, 30-day refund policy, so if it's not for you, you can just get a full refund. There's a whole bunch of stuff included with that as well, so I can link that below if you want to check it out. Other than that, thank you for watching this video, and I hope it was helpful or inspiring, and I'll see you in whatever's next.